Good evening. Believe it or not, this is week 5 of Social Work 506, and the focus this week is social work with the poor, case management, criminal justice, and the mental health system. So, beginning as always with each week, there is an overview video that you should take a look at. The learning objectives for this week are as follows: to identify and explain important issues to consider in working with individuals with mental health issues, and to identify the connection between the criminal justice system and the mental health system. There are a lot of readings for this week and 2 videos. So the readings are as follows. First is in the Strengths-Based Generalist Practice book with John Pullen as the editor. It's chapter 11, Generalist Practice with Economically Disadvantaged Clients and Communities. There is an article on the life sentence using a narrative approach in group psychotherapy with offenders, and we'll be talking more about the narrative approach in future classes. Bentley, Chapter 1, Social Work Practice and Mental Health, Bentley and Walsh, Chapters 1 and 2, on the social worker and psychotropic medication, an article on evidence-based practice with adults in jails and prison strategies, practices, and future directions, and Chapter 1 in Psychopathology, a competency-based treatment model for social workers. There are 2 videos. One is a PBS frontline video on the new asylum, and the second is Rethinking Foster Care, a TED Talk in Baltimore on how we function a certain way in the foster care system, and this video presents a new way that we should think about our interaction with youth and placement in the foster care system. So there is a discussion post that is based on that frontline video, The New Asylums. And after viewing this video, you are to reflect on the relationship between the prison system and the mental health system, and thinking back to theories that you learned in Social Work 501, Human Behavior in the Social Environment. What theory do you feel best explains the problem and why? You won't be able to see any of the posts of your classmates until you have done your own initial post, and then you are to respond to one of your classmates and discuss the similarities and differences you see between your post and theirs. And then, based on the theory and problem that your peer described, choose and discuss a potential intervention for a specific component of the issues in these systems, explaining why you chose that intervention. And I believe that is the extent of the assignment for this week. Remember, in week 6 is your second paper, your intervention paper. Since the overview mentioned care management, quite some time ago I put together a PowerPoint on care management and the thinking of care management as both a clinical and management process. The overview video talks about case management having clinical components, and there's often a debate whether it's clinical or whether it's managerial, but case care management is both. And it's an intervention on behalf of clients, consumers, to help them overcome problems which interfere with the delivery of services. Such problems include fragmentation, lack of continuity, difficult access, biased or narrow understanding of client need, and lack of information on the part of the families, clients, consumers, in addition to the fact that there are always limited resources. NASW has defined care case management as a mechanism for ensuring a comprehensive program that will meet an individual's need for care by coordinating and linking components of a service delivery system. It's also designed to arrange for and to sequence needed services of different sorts by various providers on behalf of a client or client family. It involves the engagement of a client in a system of services. It's also an ongoing process that consists of the assessments of wants and needs, planning, locating and securing supports and services, monitoring and following along or follow up. The individual or family is the defining force of the service coordination process. So it's an approach to service delivery that attempts to ensure that clients with complex, multiple problems and disabilities receive all the services they need in a timely and appropriate fashion. It is a boundary spanning approach in that instead of providing maybe one specific direct services, it utilizes care managers to link the client to many services. So we have to think about this as both a clinical and a management process, and the quality of the service delivered to the consumer is dependent upon the development of a continuous, productive, helping relationship between the consumer and the worker. So what are some of the goals? To facilitate access, to facilitate choice of services that are most appropriate, to ensure service coordination, to ensure periodic review of the appropriateness of the services that are in place, and to document gaps in service and then advocate ways to fill those gaps. Care managers, like all direct service practitioners, need good clinical skills, good communication and interviewing skills, utilize empathy versus sympathy, know that each client is unique. They have the ability to use good judgment, cultural sensitivity, have good organization and time management skills, are detail oriented, and have the ability to fairly advocate resources. So the success of all helping relationships is dependent upon the quality of the consumer-worker relationship. So warmth, acceptance, empathy, caring, concern, and genuineness all go to facilitating a good helping relationship. As a reminder, empathy is us being able to walk in the shoes of someone else, that we are aware and responsive, we are understanding, and practice active listening. Narrative interviewing, that I said we would talk about later, is a type of interaction that is less threatening, starts where the consumer client wants to begin, is less formal, allows individuals to construct their own reality, gives people a sense of control and the ability to find meaning in their stories. So there is a role duality with care managers and anyone who works for an agency and also advocates for clients, and that is we are the client advocate, the client representative, but we're also a representative of an agency. The helping relationship we are establishing, but we also are taking into consideration service providers, and again, that clinical and managerial function. From a consumer perspective, what can get in the way of that helping process is being vulnerable, fearful, their current circumstances, the cumulative effects of loss and trauma, trying to gain control. So sometimes people are not cooperative because they want to have some sense of control, individual personality issues, and then cross-cultural misunderstandings. From a worker perspective, things that can get in the way of that helping process are emotions that get out of control, letting clients put us on the defensive, exhibiting sympathy and pity, when we moralize, sermonize, and give advice, are judgmental, and let paperwork overshadow individual consumer needs, and then boundary crossing. Burnout gets caused when we have a lack of balance, not having a good awareness of ourself, value and ethical conflicts, feeling stuck, and then lack of social support. How do we avoid it? Know ourselves, analyze our strengths and capitalize on them, know the areas where we need additional training and get it, and then finding a support system. So these are just a few areas to think about in terms of the role of the care case manager. I look forward to reading your posts for this week, and if you have any questions, please get back to me as quickly as possible. Have a wonderful week.